All right, hello, welcome back, everybody. PayPal and Patreon are down below if you want to support me. Only do so if you actually can. So another particular oil and gas milestone was reached, this time on India's part, as India has just as of the midpoint of this year reached 2 million barrels per day in terms of its average diesel fuel consumption, diesel fuel demand, which resumed climbing after experiencing the massive COVID pitfall, the massive COVID 2020 disruption that we all did. But their diesel fuel demand is now at about 2 million barrels per day, which puts them at the third highest behind, obviously, the US and China. And this comes in as no surprise, since growing diesel fuel consumption is a factor or a product of expanding economic activity, since diesel fuel is primarily the fuel used by large trucks or freight carrying vehicles, so lorries and freight trucks transporting things to and from ports, transporting an increasing number of raw materials to and from factories and industrial sites, transporting an obviously increasing number of products and goods to and from stores within the country as domestic spending increases as well, and as new businesses, factories, industries, regular buildings, and infrastructure continue getting built at an increasing rate, since diesel fuel is also the fuel that's used by heavy vehicles, aka most of the construction vehicles and construction equipment. So increasing or expanding economic activity is what lies behind increasing diesel fuel consumption rates. And of course, India does have a rapidly growing economy, which you can observe from various charts. While gasoline consumption or increasing gasoline consumption is primarily a factor usually of rising personal income levels, which are coming along in India's case and in many other countries' cases with economic growth and increasing economic activity, as more and more people in any given country earn enough to where they're able to buy and drive a vehicle if they want to, at least. And India's domestic gasoline consumption levels are increasing as well. It's just that diesel's the one that got the title for the video because diesel's the one that actually crossed a particular milestone this time. And India's gasoline consumption is about half of its diesel consumption. It will probably be hitting 1 million barrels per day of gasoline consumption sometime next year, I would expect. India did just hit a new high for gasoline consumption as well, getting up to 930,000 barrels per day, but their diesel fuel consumption has reached 2 million barrels per day, which now puts them right at about the halfway points of the diesel fuel use levels of the US and China. Meanwhile, India's total oil demand, their total oil consumption on average now, across all products combined, gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, marine fuel, plastics, everything, is approaching 6 million barrels per day or so. And in overall total, they are also the third behind the US and China, obviously, with the US having a relatively flat or plateaued consumption level total of 20 million barrels per day for their oil demand, and China having recently reached 17. That's it for this brief video, so thank you everybody for sticking around and listening. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already. PayPal and Patreon links are down there. Link to the free access data drive with all the different graphs and charts and everything is in the description. The link to my photography Instagram is below that, and a link to my catch channel will be in the top pinned comment. May God bless and protect all of you, and I will see you all around next time.